All right. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Welcome to the Inner Circle Live Asian session. I'm your host for tonight's session, Benny Allen, and I'm definitely happy and grateful to be here with you this evening as we take a look at the technicals and the fundamentals to see what we could take advantage of in the Forex market. And I've been out and I'm glad to be back. So I am looking forward to tonight's session. So let's make sure that we turn off any and all distractions, grab a pen and paper for notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage. If everybody can hear me loud and clear, do me a favor, drop me a big one in the chat, and we can get things going for tonight's session. Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you, Mary. All right, so let's dive right in and take a look at the fundamentals. So today we had for the European Central Bank, we had the main refinancing rate, we had the monetary policy statement, and we had the ECB press conference. As expected, they were going to keep the rates at zero, and then it was just a matter of trying to get some forward guidance as we head into July, where they are expected to raise interest rates for the first time in quite a while due to inflationary pressure. So if we click over, that was the biggest news for today. ECB to raise rates by 25 basis points in July. So it says here that the ECB will end net asset purchases under its APP as of July 1st, 2022, and it intends to raise rates to raise the key ECB interest rates by 25 basis points in July. The central bank also said that it expects to raise borrowing rates again in September, and that a bigger half-point hike could be appropriate should the inflation outlook deteriorate, right? So now it's just a matter of moving forward through the month of June to start looking at all of the inflationary data to see if they're going to hold to that 25 basis point hike in July, or if they're going to have to be more aggressive, right? As we've seen with what happened with Australia and some of the other central banks around the globe. So right now it stands at 25 basis points, and they're going to end their officially in their asset purchasing program July 1st, 2022. So everybody's kind of falling in line with where the Federal Reserve is. So kind of just as expected. Tomorrow we have the unemployment rate data coming out of Canada, but all eyes will be on the CPI report tomorrow, mainly, especially that core CPI number, to see if any of the actions that the Federal Reserve has taken so far has done anything to kind of start to stem the tide of inflation. So the expected tomorrow for the core CPI is 0.5%. We'll see if it comes in at forecast, above or below. Everybody's watching that inflationary number. So, because that can lead to the Fed becoming even more aggressive than what they are projecting going forward right now. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We know that they're aggressively looking to raise rates multiple times now, right, to try to curb inflation. And they're doing it aggressively now, just in case, right, we get that recession down the road here and they have to roll back the interest rates. So your central banks around the world are starting to get a little bit more aggressive in preparation for that. We did see some action in the dollar today on the DXY. We saw the bond yield, especially coming out of that ECB report, that hey, they definitely look to raise those interest rates. We saw the bond yield start to creep up 3.04, so back over 3%. The high point, that was yesterday. Today, so yesterday was 3.07. So we know that oftentimes when we see that bond yield start to go up, we'll see it start to make its way in a certain direction first. Then we'll see the dollar come through. And so we've gotten a good little push off this 236 zone off of this daily support area as well. And we saw that the dollar pushed up. Now we're in the Asian session, we're starting to see it correct just a little bit, but for the most part, it's been moving to the upside. So we'll see how aggressive that DXY wants to continue We see we've got highs up here. Maybe we'll revisit that. Not sure yet. Maybe we'll move down for a retest. The dollar can be kind of funny, especially during these times. But we did get some bullish price action coming off those the bond yield increases. So we saw some good price action on the dollar today. What else is out here? If we go and we take a look at investing.com, see the stock market today, Dow slumps as growth suffers, beat down, inflation data eyed, right? So it's starting to get a little jittery on Wall Street. They want to see that number come out tomorrow out of the United States for that core CPI. So it'll be a quite interesting Friday, and we should probably see some volatility based on that report. And that report tomorrow is at 8:30 a.m. Again, we have Canadian numbers coming out too in regards to employment data. And we've got Lagarde, she speaks again at 9:45, but her main thing was today. So those are the fundamentals. This was an interesting article too. Why WECB will have a negative impact on the Swiss currency. So I am going to copy this and put this in the chat because this will be pretty good for you all to read to find out a little bit more about the correlation between what the ECB is doing in the euro and the Swiss franc. So I'll put that there for all of you to read. Put a lot of quite a few markups, I should say, in the Telegram today for everybody to take a look at, whether you're in demo or live account or if you're just studying right now. Definitely pay attention to those setups. Hold on one second. As some more people join us. Okay. All right. So we are good there. All right. So let's dive into it. What I'm going to do tonight on this Thursday as we end the week, I will take a look at any pair requests that we have up front before I get into what I want to look at. So if you have any pairs that you want to take a look at right now, let me know. And we can hit the charts together and try to figure out what's going on with them. Oil, JPY, XAU, USD, GJ. Okay, we've been quite bullish there. Okay, so let's take the first one. Let's take a look at the Aussie yen. We got the Aussie dollar too, so I'll put that in that category. USD. So let's jump on over and take a look at this Aussie yen to get things started. And see what we have. So if we come to our weekly, okay, we know that everything's been on a tear against the yen. There is a possibility, right, where we're starting to see some yen correction. A lot of times you can see the yen start to strengthen a bit, especially with everything that's been going on in China, even though I heard there is some more things that just broke today. I have to read up on it. But the idea has been as of late that China was going to start to reduce some of their COVID restrictions. I know they were looking at opening up restaurants and cinemas and things like that. And oftentimes Japan can benefit from that. So we know that yen has been fairly weak. But if you take a look here at the daily on this Aussie pair, okay, we know we just recently had interest rate hikes on the Aussie, good employment data, so it has been bullish. But now we're in a phase where we could be starting to get a new high, right, and a correction, because ultimately we've got a 382 pullback, but this has been pretty impulsive, right? We're coming into some major highs now, and it could get corrective on it because the market doesn't just move straight up; it's going to move in waves. So even though we've had this long impulsive run, if you run a sub fib here, we've overextended even the extension on the sub fib. So now we could be coming back to retest. So if we just look at price action and structure, it completely blew through several levels. Okay, several levels, took out this high here, just took out this high here, right? So you got that stair step approach that we often talk about, where you see prices come up, Delays through a level here, took it out. Okay. Delays through a level here, took it out. Okay. Now we're correcting. Okay, so maybe back down to 93, 93. We shall see. But if you come down to the 4, okay, here's the 93, 93 area. This should be a new fib that the extension got hit. So that'll eventually adjust itself. So if I look at this on the 4, that's a monster correction, right? And on Saturday, we were talking about the possibility, right, of some of these yen pairs starting to correct. They were getting overextended. So if this is my lowest point on this last fib, then you're looking at, right, the extension was hit, a new high like that. So this is correcting. So that 93, 93 falls just before. Okay, that's 786. So maybe that's a potential target to the downside to look to see if we can get back long. But that's been a good correction. Did anybody play, happen to catch and play the B2C move on this, whether it's on the 4 or the 1 hour? Did anybody catch the trend line break? Because that was nice. That's a nice move to the downside off the reset. Right? If you did, drop me a 1 in the chat. Let me know. Give me some feedback. Right? So off the highs, that's down 170 pips. Right? So nobody got it. That's okay. But you're gonna see the market clearly moves in waves. We hit the extension on the 4. We got high, right? We've gotten into some levels, and we got a correction where the market is trying to form a high. So look, here's the high, 2 candles to the left. We get a close on Friday. Here we've got a new high. Okay, a new high, and price is correcting. That's the way it moves, same way, over and over and over again. Okay, so if you were playing that B2C move, right? If you were playing that B2C move, that's your setup. Your 382 for target 1, 61.8 for target 2. We've always got the possibility of a trend breaking down, coming through TP3. If you're waiting and you're looking, hey, I'm staying bullish, okay? I'm staying bullish on this, then we could be coming into a potential low price somewhere in this zone. You're at the 50 now. If we can get that deep correction, 61.8 lower, there's that 93, 93 daily level. And then what we do is just wait, okay? Wait to see. We know we just had the data come from the ECB today, all right? And you see price is correcting. You always need a catalyst. So now those yen pairs, we're trying to correct to the downside, A, B, C, okay? It's trying to correct. So now, right, you could just draw your trend line, follow that down. We've got CPI data tomorrow. Okay, what's the risk sentiment? What are investors thinking now? Okay, so if I go to the risk appetite, we know we always go here and just check out the VIXI risk on, risk off indicators, and we take a quick look, and we see that it's creeped up a little bit. Look, 4.85%. Okay, 4.85%. We know we've got, right, a little bit of nervousness in the sentiment right now coming off the ECB report today and ahead of the CPI tomorrow. So we know that it's crept up a little bit. This is coming down. So maybe, okay, we know that the Aussie is more of a risk on currency. We know how they're doing economically. We know that we just got an interest rate hike out of Australia. So let's see, right? See if we can get a decent low price once it comes down in your zone, our ideal zone up against this daily support at 93.93. See if we can get the price to U-turn. All right, see if we can get it to U-turn potentially. So if you don't play the B2C move, that's fine. If your bias is still bullish, then we're just in a correction, right? We're in a correction. And then what we want to do is we want to see price reverse out and start making higher highs and higher lows to get back long. And so that's what we're looking for. So this is a beautiful correction over 170 pips, right, to the downside so far. So let's just continue to be patient if we're going to look to get long, and let the price action tell us what we need to do next. We've got the framework. Now let's just wait, especially with the CPI data coming out tomorrow. Okay. So let's check it out. I was in, but that wick took me out in profit. All right. Hey. Well, it took you out in profit. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. So congrats on that. Congrats on that. Give yourself some credit for sure. All right. You're making the right moves in the market. So that's where we are off the 4. This is a pretty deep correction. So my guess is you probably got a level. No, it's similar. Big fib. 80-20 here. Anybody play the 8? That was clean off the 1, right? I'm sitting on the 4. That was clean. Shallow retracement. Look at that. 118, 127 zone. Boom. Right back down to that 382 target, coming in at that 50%. So similar look already. This one highlighted. Okay, the 4-hour one didn't, but you got similar price action that. So that was beautiful. Okay, so if anybody out there caught that one, congratulations. There's that 93.93. So that would be a deep correction on this 1-hour fib, and that's fine. That's fine. Just draw your trend line. Right? Draw your trend line to the downside. Wait on it if you're saying, hey, I want to play this long. Wait on it. But that's textbook there. That's when you like the screenshot. Boom, shallow retracement, less than a 382. Back up to the 118, 127. That's a clean trend line break, either on your 1, your 15, your 5, however you want to play it. That's a beautiful counter trend move there. Okay, that's the Aussie yen. Any questions? No, we're good. All right. All right. So if you've been with us for a little bit of time now, like we say, just continue to be patient. Continue to be patient. Watch the sentiment. Okay. See what happens after tomorrow. All right. If we stay in a risk-on environment, we know, right? Risk-on environment, we're typically going to favor your commodity currencies. Right? Your commodity currencies. We'll see. We'll see. We'll continue to watch that data coming out of China. We know China is the largest trade partner for Australia. See if they continue to open it up. See if something else new pops up and they lock it down again. It's been so back and forth in the market so far this year. Okay, so many different variables, but hey, the market moves in waves nonetheless. So let's continue to watch this pair and be patient. Be patient. So that's on the 1. All right. So since we're in the Aussies, we have a request for the Aussie dollar. Let's take a look at that. Anybody want to guess what's going on with this one before we even take a look at it? We got bond yields that went up today. Favoring the dollar. What do we think? Are we long or short on the Aussie dollar? Somebody tell me. What are we thinking?
Short.
Short. Okay. All right. Short. I see something in the chat. So let's take a look at it fundamentally before we even see the technicals. All right. Before we even see the technicals, what do we think? All right. Fundamentally is going on the Aussie dollar. Let's see. So far this week, we're down. We're down. This has been bouncing around a little bit, but we're down from a weekly perspective. Okay. So here was the level we were talking about when price pulled back. Weekly support. Got strong. Look at that. So we have officially double topped at that zone. Yeah, Ryan, watch potential between China and Australia. China intercepted one of the, again? They had this stuff again, these two? All right. All right. Definitely watch out. Ryan said, watch out for tension between Australia and China. So here we are with the Aussie versus the US dollar. We are down. Okay, we are short. So out of that zone, we are down about 166 pips from the daily. So if we come here and we take a look at the 4, which I've just been running the daily look, I like that one, so I just brought it down. Let me see how that looks with the 4-hour. It took it out. So here's my daily fib that I'm running, and that's the same look. So we've got an ABCD wave to the short side. So we're looking to just continue bearish, right? Get a pullback potentially. Pull back and then just a continuation down till the market tells us otherwise, right? So right now, this is a sell. This is a sell. Let's take a look at the technical summary on that. Okay. Technical summary comes in. Do I have an Aussie in here? Maybe I didn't. Let me see. Nope. So let me customize a couple of these, and we'll put in the Aussie. Okay. Put in the CHF. Put in the JPY. NZD. And the odd USD to round it out. That'll give us 18 on 18. And see what we got. So yes, strong sell on the Aussie dollar right now. Okay. We've got some that's been, look, bullish. So up retracement zones, right? Up retracement zones. We've been bullish on these, up retracement zone, okay? And then this is just short, okay? So great job, everybody, recognizing that. And if we come down to the one, we are just short, okay? So just looking for a continuation short on the Aussie dollar. Of course, you get your new fibs on the 1 hour, 4 hour to the downside that'll form, right? And you may even get your 80-20 plays that come into effect, right? This is weird, but it's overextended, it's something like that. And then we look just for, right, those pullbacks and those continuations. B to C moves, C to D moves. B to C, C to D, okay? So that's where we are on the Aussie dollar. Overall, we are short. Any questions?
No.
No. All righty. All righty. Oh, let me make sure. Good evening to everybody who just joined us. Let me make sure that you have control over your microphone. All right. So that is the Aussie dollar. So then we had a request on gold. All right. So let's take a look at that. Okay. Last time I looked at that, I think it was still hovering around a bit. But tomorrow, though, if it's still doing what I thought it was when I looked at it last time, tomorrow, CPI may be a catalyst to push it in either direction, right? Because it's kind of just waiting. So nothing really there. We come to the daily, and you can see how it just corrected to the downside. It's pushing up 80-20, right? Boom. And now it's just moving sideways. That's just a consolidation. That's just a range. We need a breakout. So I got the fibs moving to the downside because we saw that 80-20 from the daily. And now we got this correction, but look, we need a breakout. We need a breakout, everybody. So let's look here on the 4 to see what we got. There are all types of levels there. So I am going to move this around like this. One. I'm going to take that down. And this level, gold can move fast. So definitely want to have all your levels in. Especially ahead of tomorrow. So I'm gonna link that to the lower time frame. Then let's find out where our 4 hour highs are. All right, we can see those swing highs. Check that down. So, okay. And we are ranging. So just get some a bit of clarity there. Just look at it like this. Okay. I don't really need this zone anymore. That's from a while ago. Take that out. Daily. Hey, So we're pushing down now, but this may stay tightly wound in this area until that CPI comes out tomorrow. Okay. So what is that? 8:30. We'll see what happens, and then once New York opens tomorrow, we'll see what happens with gold. And so we're hovering around this support area here, 1844. You see here, it didn't stay below. Okay, so look, it pushed down to 1839 and came right back up into this zone. So we're just ranging right now. And that's typical, right? We've got a big report coming out tomorrow that a lot of people in the market are eyeing. This is more range bound. So we're just looking at levels. Okay. We're just looking at levels. So here on the one, if you use 1 hour levels here, okay, you've got a whole bunch that just shows you how it's been in a range for quite some time. Right, you have all of these levels. Okay, link that down. So we need a breakout. All right, we need a breakout. We needed to tear through some levels and be more convincing. Right now, there's nothing on gold that would make me take a trade either way. That inflationary data, we know that, right? Gold can be used as a hedge against inflation. So this is a key report tomorrow, right? We'll see if that inflation number starts to come down a little bit tomorrow, comes in under forecast, right? We may see that gold start to plunge to the downside of it. You know, don't know. Hard to tell for tomorrow, right? It can go either way, right? Because then it could come in that forecast, and who knows how the market's going to read that. Who knows how the market's going to read that once they wrap their head, because they're going to go all inside of that core CPI report and see the different sectors, right, and where prices are seeing the most inflation, or vice versa. So I've got nothing on gold right now, just moving, consolidating. This may continue to occur into that report tomorrow at 8:30. And we play the breakouts. We play the breakouts on it. All right. So you can see where it's at now. This is a key level. So if you break out below this 1844, then you may say, hey, I'm going to get short. I'm going to get short. All right. Any questions on gold? That's just sideways. No questions? All right. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. All right. All right. So let's take a look at GJ. I know for the most part, right, we've been bullish. We've been bullish. So look at that. That markup worked out. Level held. We're pushing right back up. 168.14, right back at this same level again. Okay. So we're at an area where price could be forming in a high to double top, and the potential of a correction. Okay. Back to the downside. So you start thinking about, if this level holds, where can I correct to? Well, it broke through 164.48. Maybe we correct, right? Back to 164.48, all right, to this zone here. And then once it gets to this zone, then we wait. All right. So if price wants to correct back to the downside, it's like, okay, well, we've gotten back here. We've gotten back here, and maybe you sell it off that zone, right? Maybe you say, hey, I like that pattern. That's a double top to me. I'm going to get short. It's been pretty impulsive. Makes sense for it to get corrective, right? So maybe you sell it back down to a level, or you say, hey, I want to remain bullish against the yen, so I favor the pound. So when it comes back down to this level, if it gets here, then you look to get long again. Then you look to get long. But we're the key level. Everybody sees that, right? Drop me a 2. You see that? Everybody sees that you have a potential double top here. You have a potential double top there. Okay. So I pays to do top-down analysis. So we got price. This is the 4-hour fib. So we can look maybe to get corrective. Right? There's that 164.63 level, right, that we talked about. Maybe we get corrective back down. That's favorable. So if we want to stay long, if I want to stay long on the yen, I want that discounted price. I want to be patient. Okay. I want to be patient on that. Okay. Here we are in the zone. Okay. So maybe we're looking to get that complex move. Right. Here. Down. Okay. Down. So you got that fight going on between the bulls and the bears. Here. We get that complex move down. All right. If it pushes down to that 164.63 on your one, it's going to take your A out, but that's okay. You know where you are from a higher time frame perspective. That's all right. Okay. We know how to play that. Okay. We're not surprised if that happens. It's just a deeper correction on a higher time frame. So you've gotten a good push on your one, but this might correct deeper. See how it's stalling? This is that weekly and daily zone for the double top. See how it's fighting? You got a fight going on there. Okay. You got a fight going on there. So if you cleared these off and you just looked at the price action, look at that. Okay. Got a good fight going on here. But if we want to buy, right? If I wanted to buy, my preference is for this price to come down. Either retest the trend line or make it all the way back down to this 164.63. So the first thing I want to wait on is to see, okay, if I get this move back down to this level, okay, let me see how it reacts. If I'm starting to get that series of lower lows and lower highs, let me see how it reacts. I'm just going to follow it and be patient. Okay. Because we don't have to be overly anxious, okay? Because we know that if we're right in our analysis, when it reverses, wherever it decides to reverse, it's going to be a huge move. If it's going to be a trend continuation long, it's going to be a huge move, especially if it's ready to move from a C to a D. We know it's going to be huge. So it's worth being patient. It's worth being patient. Get a nice low price. Okay. I wouldn't mind seeing it come down and retest that 164.63. That would be beautiful too. All right. So let's continue to wait on that. If you're not playing it, if you're not playing the B2C move and you're waiting to see if you can get long, let's just wait. Let's just wait. Okay. Now, if you're playing it short, then you're up. You're up. If you're playing a B2C move on there and you're saying this is going to correct and fall, then you're doing well right now. Okay. Maybe you came in here and you said, you know what? I'm looking at it. I'm on my daily. And this this is how you set up small and you catch the big moves. You're like, look, I got a high here. Okay. I don't have a swing high yet, but I've got a high here. So maybe you say, you know what? I've been waiting on this move to come back here to this zone. I've been waiting. I think it's overextended for a correction to the downside. Then you come in and you simply put your stop above the high. And this is on the daily chart. You put your stop above the high, trade you 1/4%, 0.5%, and you take a shot at it to the downside. If it stops you out, it stops you out. All right. But the upside potential on that in regards to the size of the potential move back to the downside can pay huge dividends. All right. Mary said, waiting patiently. Absolutely. So it's totally up to you. The key is, from a technical perspective, you're set up so that you can see when price comes into these levels. Then you can make a more sound decision in regards to what you want to do. You're going to make a decision that you can live with. All right. So that's where we are on the pound yen. Any questions? Okay. So remember, right, when you look at it from the daily, we've been talking about this one for a while, and it actually worked out to the upside, right? If for a while it was a debate, is this going to go long or is it going to go for a deeper correction? But keep in mind, right, we've already got a sizable correction here. This was a 50% 50% pullback up against daily support. So, we can't be surprised if the uptrend is going to continue for this pound yen. Right? If you do see a correction and a continuation to the upside, it's not like we're playing a 80-20 here, a shallow retracement play where we bounced off the 236 and now we're sitting up around this zone. There's a possibility that we get a deep correction. We've already had a pretty nice correction of 50%. So this could be a minor retest, a break and retest, and then a continuation long. All right, so we'll continue to watch this one. This one is a fascinating one. But even back down to support is over 300 pips. Okay, so you look at where your stop is, call it 140 pips. So you're looking at 300 pips or so. Back to support. Okay, those are the type of setups that I can live with. All right, or be patient. Be patient. Okay. All right, that's the GJ. Lots of good setups out here. Do we have anything else in the chat? Oil. Okay, that's it. 5. Let me see. 5. Five pairs. Was everybody on the trading hiatus? Nobody's trading nothing. That's all right. I got some stuff. Cash Swiss. Okay. H. All right. Well, let's take a look at it because we should be closing on that target. I've already reduced the majority of the trade. If you've closed out on this last move, I don't blame you. All right, we're getting close to the target and it's correcting. Right, so I've already reduced a lot in my other account, but here we're pretty much there on that one. Okay, pretty much there on that one. So now it's just a matter of how far it wants to correct, right? Maybe we retest the level and then we continue long, right? We spin out and continue. It could, or we could be in for a deeper correction. No way, but I know this has been a monster move. If you've hung in there, congratulations, but you're pretty much in the zone. So if you want to close that out now, you've been sitting in this for quite some time, then hey, it's totally up to you at this point. All right, maybe reduce your trade because you can always get back in later. The projections are for it to ultimately go higher. Okay, so that's all up to you and your trades management. But please lock in some profit. Make sure you got some stuff locked in. Even if you move your stop, and you're just below daily support, right? Daily resistance becoming support eventually. All right, at least lock it in. Lock it in. Don't give a ton of it back. All right. So that's pretty much where it is right now. Any questions? Who's still holding? Anybody? Nobody. All done. All set. All right. Cool deal. Mary, nope. All right. So let's take a look at the cash Swissy. And let's see. So, let's go and take a look straight to the dead. Look at that. Right. So there's been some really, really good runs, right, on these pairs. And now, right, see that there? See the zone? Boom. They're moving straight up. So now, look, we're coming in close to that D extension on that daily. Isn't that fascinating? We're coming in close, right? So I expect that to finish out, but we are at a point where we're correcting a little bit now. We see oil correcting a little bit. Okay. Keep in mind, tomorrow we've got Canadian data coming out too. All right. So let's make sure that we focus on that. So this is a pullback, still bullish, is holding up here a little bit. But we're getting close to that D extension now. So when you look at your 4, the correction. So unless we go into some type of extreme risk off scenario, I am definitely just looking at this as a correction, short-term move, right? Getting us that low price to get to that C to D move. So if we come up to the daily and we mark our, what is this, 78, 169. So we go 78, 169. So mark that down to our 4. Right there in that zone. So this is our daily 1.618 D extension. And we mark that because we believe, right, that the higher time frames control the lower time frame. So this is the daily time frame target. So we'll see if we can get a continued correction to the downside. And then I'm going to look to get long back up to this point. So if we see price continue to correct, it's a beautiful 80-20. Okay. So out of that 127 zone to that 382 is 100 pips. TP2 is 156 if you plan that move. And then if we look to get long, all right, if we get back down to at least here, this monthly support level, and then we get price to reverse, and just running into that daily D extension is 170 pips or so. All right, to that upside target. Your daily D extension comes in line before we get to our 4-hour D extension on this currently active fib, but it's the same zone. Okay, so if you wanted to zone it out, like this, okay, like that. So we're just, hey, we need a low price. See if we can get that move to finish out. So that's where we are. Any questions on the cash Swiss?
Nope. I'm waiting. I'm trading down, and then I got a limit order waiting for the buy. I want to say right in that area.
Hey, I love the way you think. Love the way you think. Congratulations for being in profit on that 80-20 move. Yep. Great job. Great job. So that's that. Let's look at that was the cash Swiss. We've got an Aussie NZD request. Okay. See what we're looking like on this one. Look at that. We got a D extension hit. Boom. Right. Daily D. So we know that we could be getting corrective now. Okay. And that's exactly what's going on. It's forming a high, it's pushing down. Now, that was that break off that last place. So let me squeeze this out. Okay. Now, you see how we've got this 382 pullback, and now we pushed up around this 118, 127 zone, and we're turning over. Higher time frames control the lower time frames, right? So even though on your 4, we haven't quite made it to a 1.618 off this 382, the way this setup is occurring, that we just hit a D extension on the daily, we have to know in our mind, like, man, we might get a fairly deep correction back to the downside on this because of where we are on a daily. So even if I ran a sub fib off this impulsive move, look at that. Okay. So what I would say on this, because this is already in motion, is that I'm looking for just a further downside correction now. Here at this level, okay? So if I'm still thinking long, I'm just following my trend, right? I'm following my trend line to the downside, okay? And I'm thinking, now I'm playing levels. Well, I got to break below here 110.42. And then if we collapse and break through that, I have to understand that that's a possibility because I just hit, right, what is a long-term B extension. Here's a 110.42 right there. Okay. So think about it. If I just had a D extension hit, right? We didn't quite get to the 786, so we rejected a 1.618 D extension. If this was my prior fib, this was my low. So once my new fib activates, it'll be something like that. Okay. This. So this is my high. We really don't have a new fib yet until we close out on Friday from a daily perspective. Now I've got a new AB boundary. Like this. So now it's just going to be a matter of how deep does this price want to correct? Okay, to the downside. Higher time frames control the lower time frames here. Okay. So do we get that 236 and then price pushes up, right? For that 80-20? Or does the momentum stay to the downside and we push deeper? If we start to get these deeper pushes to the downside, okay, then we know we're going to start to see the possibility of fib levels being taken out. Okay. These sub fibs get taken out like so. Boom, they'll get taken out, right? We'll push back down deeper for a deeper correction. Now, ultimately, price might stay within this 4-hour AB boundary. See here? And by that time, right, so 108.23, if we come up and we look at 108.23, that's right around the 382. Okay? So maybe price tracks its way here, and then it wants to get long off the 382, depending on what the momentum and the risk sentiment is at that time. And then we get long from there. Okay. So possibility of a correction phase going on, which will push this wave deeper. Okay. Because our higher time frames control the lower time frame. And we know that when higher time frame extensions get hit, it can be very powerful reaction in regards to the sell-off. Okay. So just be prepared for that. All right. Any questions on the Aussie New Zealand? Okay. You got two commodity currencies. The New Zealand dollar has actually been ahead of, right? It's been ahead of Australia in regards to interest rate hikes. Australia is just coming along. Now, Australia just gave us an interest rate hike that was more than expected. Okay. So we'll continue to watch this. We know that the Aussie New Zealand has the tendency to kind of bounce around a bit. Same region, same trade partners, two commodity currencies. Okay. So let's continue to watch it. As I say, just be patient with it. Now, if you're playing the short, there's nothing wrong with playing the short. It's getting corrective. Like your sub fib, we know a D extension got hit on the daily. So if your thought process is correction, right? You're winning that trade right now. Of course. Okay. You're winning that trade. So if you're taking it to the downside, good job. If you're waiting and saying, hey, I'm ultimately bullish on this pair, I want to get long, you're just waiting for a good opportunity to get long. All right. So that's the Aussie NZD. All right. Now, since we're talking about the NZD, I am going to, because I am actually in a NZD USD short right now. So I want to take a look at that because I expect this one to continue to drop. That's what I'm hoping. Right? So we're moving down. This is the weekly. There's that weekly D extension. Okay. This is a weekly support there though. And then we've got a beautiful turn out of the zone. Okay. Beautiful turn. Now we're at support at 68.83. But as long as we continue to see dollar strength, tomorrow's report will be big. I would love to see this just continue to break through, retest, and continue to the downside on the NZD USD. So this is the 4. Okay. And it's just moving down, right? But I took this off the daily. I took a daily entry on that. 50% pullback right up against a weekly resistance level, 65.35, right? So that's a good position to the downside plan to dollar strength. So we'll continue to watch and see what that looks like tomorrow. We had to adjust the stops a little bit, but that's a pretty clean move reversing out of the zone, right? That's what we like to see off the sub. So look, here's the bigger picture. See, it's pushing down, then it pulled back. So plan of sub fib. Right? But ultimately, this is the major. See the major move, the major swing, and then taking advantage of the opportunity on that pullback like that. This is a huge move. Right? So out of this zone here, price pushed all the way down, 800 pips. We got a pullback, and now back down. Okay, so far, so good on that setup. So I would like to see that continue short. Continue short has been a pretty good play so far. All right, so that's the NZD USD. I am still short. I think I posted that in the Telegram. I'm still short Aussie CAD. Right, even though we might get a bit of a pullback on it, I'm still overall short on this play off the 4. So we broke below that 90.37. We're kind of pushing sideways, but I am short out of that zone on the Aussie CAD. So I'm looking for more downside push. We'll see how deep that oil price wants to correct, but so far that move is in profit. Anybody else playing the Aussie CAD to the downside? No? Okay. All right. Hesitated. That's all right. That's all right. Got a beautiful retest of this trend line. Right? And a continuation down. We've got CAD numbers coming out tomorrow. This is something that's more long term. As I'm looking at oil, it may correct, but I'm still looking over the long term for oil to continue to increase. So right now, so far so good. So far so good. To the downside, I am, because of this euro, now this is one that's is going pretty good so far, but this euro Aussie, I'm watching it closely, but I do have a small position to the upside on this. We double bottomed here, and when we were going over the weekend in the ritual, we were going back and forth, and a break above, I was eyeing that break back above 1488, and it did. Right? And it double bottomed pretty much again, eliminated, taking that wick out of there, but it held, and now it's pushing up. So I am long on this euro Aussie right now. So I'm looking for a continuation, and as long as it's stand above that 1488, I look forward to it moving long. So we'll continue to see how that plays out. It might get a little sketchy here and there, but there's small risk on it. So the euro Aussie, so I'm playing that to the upside. I am also playing It's another euro pair. The euro CAD. Okay. It's been moving up, and I'm playing this as a range play, right? We talked about this before. See how I was holding? That's a triple bottom there, right? 3 shots at that beat boundary, and we broke back above this 134.33. So I am at this time, right, long. Bottom of the range, top of the range. So I am playing this long. We'll see how this plays out. Okay. Been a little bit back and forth. There's a 382 target off that leg. You got your 61.8. But even if you took these out and you're just playing it as a structure play and saying, hey, right, yep, we got some levels, but it's stuck in a range. So ideally, back to the top of the range, don't know. But you can add to it, reduce your trade as it continues to move, depending on, how you gauge how it's moving. But I did get long on that one with a small position. So that one's up pretty decent so far. It's a euro CAD, but we'll see what happens if it breaks back up on that 135.05, that 4-hour level. What else was I tinkering with? Oh, today this UCAD trade, right? Almost to the 382 now, right? Didn't really get a solid pullback on that, but that's a really good move to the upside. Coming off the rise in the bond yields there. So if and again, all of it, this pair is funny because it all hinges tomorrow. We've got major reports for Canada and the US. So I would love to see, right, if oil starts to correct to the downside a little bit, maybe we get that pullback and a continuation on that here. So maybe we get a pullback and a continuation. So hasn't quite formed a high yet, right? So we can't get a fib on that yet, but a decent pullback and maybe a continuation higher on the dollar CAD. But again, it all hinges on the major reports coming out tomorrow on a Friday. So maybe this moves into next week as an opportunity. Any questions on the dollar CAD? All right. So that one's that's a pretty good mover. All right. All right. So dollar CAD, I was in the dollar Swiss long. That was look back at this one now because I got out of it. Seeing if it was going to correct back down, and I was thinking, hey, maybe I'll get back in on it. But this has made a really nice U-turn off this zone. So if you come down to the 4, you can see how this is pushed. It's still choppy, so still not an opportunity. But back to this 382 was a really good play. Okay, it's a pretty good move, and I would love to see that to continue long. But I'm trying to wait for a good correction, okay, to the downside, to see if that wants to hold that level, then potentially get long. I'm just not high. I'm not really high on the Swiss franc right now, at all. Unless we move back into those extreme risk-off scenarios. I'm not just looking at monetary policy, right, for the Bank of Japan and the Swiss franc. I favor other currencies over that. So a correction, we came into this 382. So a further correction to the downside, they look to get long again, right? To get longer for this to move higher. So we'll see. Like I said, a lot of it's going to have to do with tomorrow's reports. And then if we come and we take a look at the UJ, you're welcome, Beverly. Thanks for being here. You can see where on the daily, look at the breakout. See the range we had mapped out? And then look, boom, right? Broke out. This fib is now complete. So now we look for it to eventually come back and retest the zone that it broke out from to see if that holds. If it holds, then we look for a continuation eventually to the upside. Okay, so that's from the daily perspective. There was another pair too. So here we go. All right. There's another pair that had a nice breakout. That I was taking a look at earlier today, but I don't have it to memory right now. So this is where we are on the 4. Okay. The breakout. I'll see if we can get a retest and a continuation for the dollar yen. So lots of nice things setting up. A lot of really nice moves being made. I want to try to find that CAD Swiss. Let me see. Wasn't that one, but this one is choppy as all get out, but that may continue long. You've got some bids on the euro right now because of the expected interest rate hike. So that's holding long right now, your euro NZD. And so if you were to get a potential pullback on that, a little bit more of a downside correction, it might give you an opportunity for a correction to get long. The euro is quite interesting, but they are catching bids. Been catching bids off the lows here. See, okay. All right. You remember, everybody, when we took a look at the COT data right over the weekend, and we looked at the euro and we said, "Wow, look." So we said, "Man, that's a lot of positions." All right, that's a lot of positions from the institutional side there. Look at that. That fell right in line with the key technical levels, right? We know the euro had taken a beating and it was coming into key support levels. And then look, right? So that tells that from the institutional side, right? That tells us that they're really good at letting us know, like, okay, price is too low, or flip flop in reverse, price is too high. That's why I really like to pay attention to that asset manager institutional side, the commercial side, because a lot of times they'll kind of key you off and give you good confluence with your technicals that you're looking at on your chart, especially from the higher time frame. So look at the amount of, as it came into those higher type, the euro came into those monthly and weekly support levels, those major support levels that we were eyeing up on those euro pairs. Look how many shorts got closed out, and look what moved to the long side there. Okay, so you can see, when you come into like your weekly level, look at these swings that are happening, right, off the lows there. So this is your daily off the lows. See, look how impulsive that was. We came right into this 155.95 on the euro NZD, and look how it pushed. Okay, so you do have some bids on some of these euro pairs, right? So if you come to the weekly, right, look at that correction. Look how huge that was, and then look at the explosive move to the upside. Look at that. Right at 382. Look at that. Okay, so pretty cool. I did not do GU. Let me take a look at it real fast. On this pound dollar. All right, look, key levels. All right, so look at what happened today to see. Pound's kind of holding his own. Right, the market's pushing sideways, downward sideways a little bit. That's kind of a range. So even though we got that dollar strength, the pound is doing all right. So this has been one that's been for a while. That's been hovering, right? So something's probably gonna push it tomorrow, because here is your 4 hour. We haven't even gotten to 382 yet, and we're just moving sideways. Sideways. We're either gonna get a break of that support tomorrow. We're either gonna get a break of that support, or it's gonna push up to that 382 potentially. So this is one to keep an eye on. Yeah. So that's where it's at. It's just ranging, right? Beautiful move off the swing here. Beautiful move off the swing. But look, it came right back up in the area that it was ranging before. So it's just hovering. It's waiting on something. Tomorrow could be the day. So that's the GU. I don't have a whole lot on it, being that it's moving sideways. All right. There. Entity CAD, Zealand Yen. Take a look at these yen crosses and how they're moving. All right. Big corrective. Big corrective. Take a look at the 4. Right. So this is, hold on, get these off of here. That. So just looking for that to pull back. I would love to see a pullback, deep pullback, and then a continuation long. Favoring most currencies over the yen. But I would like to see a further correction to the downside on the New Zealand yen. That would be the ideal area zone for me to take a shot at a long. Okay. I hardly have ever traded off the 382. Sometimes off the daily time frame and things like that, but on my lower time frames, I like to wait for the deeper corrections. All right. Any questions on anything that we covered this evening? Anybody catching pips this week? I've been out for most of the week. Somebody talk to me. Tell me what's going on. Rough week. Not in the market at all. Doing well. Tell me something. It's my trading family here.
Hey, Penny. This is Wilma. I just want to let you know that all this is finally beginning to come to light for me. And I think the biggest problem I was having was I was using trading view, and I wasn't real, adapt with that. But then now I'm learning smart trader, and it's easier to understand everything you're talking about being on the same page.
Oh, yeah.
So it's beginning to come to light for me.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for the feedback.
Yeah.
Hey, and I'm proud of you for hanging in and going through that discovery period and figuring things out, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because I was lost there for a minute.
That's the key. That's the key is hanging in there. So,
All right. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Appreciate the feedback.
Okay.
Kira not really trading right now, getting back into the groove. Okay. This week was good, Mary. Awesome. All right. Well, I appreciate it. I'm definitely glad to be back. Right, this helps me narrow my focus doing some challenging times. So I really like being here. So this is a relief for me. So with that being said, we are going to close out. Now, we will be back here, right, on Saturday, 7 a.m., marking up these charts. And remember, you don't have to take every pair, right? You see, these are huge moves, right? So, I know in the past, we tell people, hey, if you could just set a goal for 100 pips a week, right? Some of you 50 pips a week if you have to. Set those small goals, right? We know those acorns become oak trees in the end. So just continue to work hard at it. I have 4 pairs I trade. That's it, right? If that's your thing in your trade plan, hey, I trade these 4 pairs. That is 100% okay. So I want everybody to definitely keep that in mind. We go through all the pairs because it really helps you with your repetition. And if the more reps you can get, the more you're able to compress time frames and shorten your learning curve. So that's why we say, hey, mark up all your charts so you can get those reps in. Okay, you can start to identify those patterns and those key levels of structure a lot faster. So everybody, have a good night. Have a happy Friday. Make sure 8:30 a.m. tomorrow morning, take a quick look at your charts to see what the price action is doing as we have the core CPI data coming out month over month for the United States. And then we also have some employment data for Canada. So both of those are highlighted as red folders, very important, especially during these times. And we'll see everybody Saturday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for being here this evening, guys. Take care.